Charles Rosa, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Great. How about yourself? Good.
I'm doing good, thank you. What's it been like during lockdown for you, trying to get ready for a fight? What's your typical day looking like at the moment?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty normal for training camp right now. As far I'm in Florida right now, so I train at American Top Team. So the gym's been open for me for professional athletes. The gym has stayed open, especially since I have a fight coming up, and it's close to the public, so we're not being like exposed to too many people, and they're cleaning the mats extra and doing everything to take precautions. Like I'm only keeping the same 2 or 3 training partners, so not getting the same variety of guys, but I'm still getting the same amount of work in, and the coaching is on point because there's not as many guys there, so I'm getting a lot of good attention that I need. But yeah, I'm just pretty much got the everything around me is kind of just like a blur with what's going on because I'm so focused on the fight. I'm trying not to focus on it too much, but also at the same time trying to take it seriously, like washing my hands, doing what I'm supposed to be. But at this point, I just feel like it's kind of hopefully it's towards the end of it, and then life will start getting back to normal now. It's tough because sometimes like some of the restaurants I'll go to grab like some food or something, or go to the beach to get like a nice relaxed day, or usually go get a massage, little things that I haven't been able to do. But that's just kind of extra stuff as far as the hard work and the training I've been getting it in.
Does it make much of a difference to you with things being, so different? Like you said, things are, shut down, so you can't do what you would normally do. Does it make, or will it make much of a difference for you?
No, I doubt it. I mean, as long as my training's on point, it's nice to be able to, I was able to go in and get like a small massage today for like the first time. But like I said, besides like the body maintenance and just like the extra stuff and stuff like that is like, I mean, I'm getting the work in. I'm in the best shape of my life right now. Still able to go for bike rides and do all that stuff. So, man, like I mean, everything's on point. I'm eating real healthy. So, I'm actually probably eating healthier than I would have because usually, like, I still go to restaurants once in a while, and like sometimes, you eat like an extra piece of something, or they give you like an appetizer or something that you wouldn't normally eat. But I've been making all my meals myself in my house every day. Cooking for myself 2 or 3 times a day. So, eating real healthy and weight's on point. So I'll be ready to go May 9th.
And you're a trained chef, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, I graduated from culinary school from Johnson and Wales. It's like the best culinary school in the United States, and yeah, I graduated with a culinary arts degree from there about 10 years ago, and that was like my first. One of my passions was culinary arts. It still is. It's one of my hobbies that I love cooking, and I worked in a restaurant for about 8 years down here in South Florida at a 5-star restaurant, cut 432, like really high end steakhouse. So I appreciate good food, like high end food and high quality food. So that's one of my other passions. But so as of right now, since I'm starting to cut weight and stuff, I'm always watching like Gordon Ramsay shows and all these shows about cooking food because and every time I damn friggin' Pizza Hut or Domino's commercial comes on, it kills me. But that's part of being a fighter. I've been dealing with this now for since I started. So it's just discipline. That's what it comes down to. It's just a discipline, and I stay disciplined, work through it, and and then you get to celebrate after you win the fight.
So, what came first, your love of cooking or your love of fighting?
Man, I think I was born a fighter. There's no, that's like one of those things. Some people are just born that way. But, ever since I was a kid, I can remember, I come from a large Italian family. Ever since I was a kid, like I can remember my dad had me rolling meatballs in the kitchen and stuff like that. So, I always loved food and eating, and there was always food on the table at my house. So that was definitely one of the things I love. And then ever since I was a kid, also I can remember, getting in fights and stuff. So those are my two passions. I played hockey my whole life. I was a hockey player,
Okay.
and my favorite part about hockey was the fighting. So I mean, I wanted to play in the NHL, but and ended up working out better that I was a UFC fighter because I was a little better at fighting than I was at playing hockey. So.
But I mean, cooking and fighting, it does kind of go hand in hand, doesn't it? Because you have
Oh,
the knowledge of the nutrition and how to fuel your body properly. I mean, how does that benefit you?
Oh, it benefits me huge. I mean, I see sometimes what some of the things my teammates are eating or my friends that come over, like, I have a lot of friends that are fighters and they're like the stuff that they're eating. I'm like, yo, you have a fight in like a week. What are you eating? He's like, oh, I'm eating, they think they're eating healthy, but they have no idea because they have no idea about nutrition. So these are things that have helped me huge. And, I'm eating 3 meals a day leading up to my fight camp. Eating 3 healthy meals, I'm eating a lot of fish and vegetables and stuff like that. But, these are things that keep me high fueled and hydrated and stuff like that. Things that I didn't know. Like when I always knew about nutrition, but then learned about fight nutrition and then diet and stuff like that. So I actually still work with a nutritionist. I work with a nutritionist, Jackie Kaminsky. She's a dietitian. Went to school at Florida State, so like she's helped me a lot to bounce ideas off of. So like just because I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu or I know about nutrition or whatever doesn't mean that I'm not going to have another jiu-jitsu coach or someone else to teach it to me. So I still have someone like her to bounce ideas off of. So she knows a little bit more of like the scientific part of things. So definitely helps. But as far as when it comes to cooking the food and what I'm supposed to eat, I'm right on with being able to make my own meals and keep myself on point and keep myself strong. So.
Okay, cool. So then going back to October, you made your return. Obviously, you had injury, and doctors told you that you might not be able to fight again. What was it like to come away with that win in Boston, knowing that you kind of proved those doctors wrong?
Yeah, that was, I'd say, like, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. That was like, for 2 years, I basically, about 2 years ago, the doctors told me that I had less than a 1% chance to make a comeback to fight in the UFC, and it was very unlikely, highly improbable. And, when I hear improbable, I said, improbable is not impossible, right? And he said, no, it's not, but it's unlikely, less than 1% chance. And, I told the doctor that I'm a 1%er. I'm one of the people that, there's only 1% of people or less than 1% of the guys that make it to the UFC that are fighters. So I know that I'm part of that 1% of people. So, that's kind of what I stuck with and helped use it to get me through those 2 years of physical therapy. I was going to the physical therapy like 2 times a day, every day for almost a year and a half. With 90-year-old ladies like, oh, what are you doing here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a fighter. I gotta sitting on a bicycle warming up for physical therapy next to a 90-year-old lady like every single day for a year and a half. And, it paid off. I never, there was some days I doubted it. It was hard, but to be able to go back and the Boston Garden where I picked up a third win, the most wins in the history of any fighter, picking up my third win, passing Conor McGregor for most wins in the Boston Garden was a dream come true. And, it's something that I'm going to just keep the ball rolling. It was coming off the biggest win of my career, first round armbar submission over a top guy, Manny Bermudez. So definitely going to keep the ball rolling against Bryce Mitchell May 9th.
So then when you found out that your upcoming fight in Oklahoma was in jeopardy because of the COVID-19, that must have really kind of put you back a little bit, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's always something for me. I had the time that I fought in Japan that my guy didn't make weight, and I flew all the way to Japan, didn't fight. I mean, luckily the UFC still compensated me for it, but it always seems like it's something, and but that's part of the game. We gotta overcome, things and controversy as fighters, and there's always the pressure. Every time it's like, oh, you're nervous, you're worried about this fight. But it's like every fight is the biggest fight. Like the first time I ever had my first UFC fight when I met you in Stockholm, Sweden, against Dennis Seaver, I was fighting a legend, like a top 10 guy, and 4 days notice, had to cut 30-something pounds. It was my first UFC fight. It was like all just like a blur, but that was a lot of pressure, obviously, being my first UFC fight. And then my first fight in Boston in front of all my friends, family, in my hometown, getting my first UFC win to, fighting in Mexico City, against Yair Rodriguez, with like 30,000 people cheering against me, like literally like throwing stuff at me when I'm walking out, like yelling at me in Spanish, So like I've been through it all, and there's always pressure every fight. But this is just another thing, an obstacle that you overcome as a fighter, and you deal with it. I mean, he's in the same boat as me, so it's not like he has any advantage. So that's the way I look at it.
So then why Bryce Mitchell? Because you called him out essentially, didn't you, over Twitter? Why did you pick him?
Yeah, I think, actually what happened is a fan randomly said, like, I would love to see Charles Rosa versus Bryce Mitchell. So I just tweeted back, I'm like, yeah, I would love that fight. And then Bryce Mitchell said, and, I didn't really say much. I said, yeah, I would love that fight because, like, I do respect Bryce Mitchell. I think he's a super tough, talented, young, up-and-coming fighter. He's, 12-0, 3-0 in the UFC, coming off submission of the year. He's saying he has some of the best jiu-jitsu in the division. When I know I have the best jiu-jitsu, so like that's stuff that crossed my mind. But when I saw that the fan said that, and then he actually responded like, "Let's go," I kind of was like, "Man, this actually would be a great fight." I mean, he's like the toughest kid, like country boy, city kid from a trailer parks, like in the middle of the United States, like country boy, and I'm the toughest city kid from Boston. I'm the baddest motherfucker in Boston. So like, you want to see who's tougher, a city kid from the United States or a country kid from the United States, and that's what you're getting. You're getting a treat here. You're getting two of the toughest kids in the U.S. They're going against each other, so we're going to see, which part of the country is going to represent harder.
So what did you think about his last performance then? What did you think of the twister submission?
I thought it was impressive. I'm not going to take that away from him. I mean, like the guy he did it to, I mean, that's one thing, but you can't take that away. It was an impressive submission. Something that's very difficult to pull off in high level competition. So he was able to do that. So he's a confident kid, but he definitely hasn't ran into somebody like me. He hasn't fought a black belt in jiu-jitsu like me. He hasn't fought a dog like me. I've fought in 3 of my 6 UFC fights against top 10 guys in the division, and they're all fight of the night bonuses. So real competitive back and forth fights. So you look at that, and then you look at the guys he's fought. So I'm gonna be the first real test for him. So you're gonna see what Bryce Mitchell's made of. So I'm real excited to find out what this kid got, and definitely tune in on May 9th.
And with him coming off of that win, and like you say, you're a BJJ black belt, how do you see your styles matching up?
Well, I mean, it depends where you take the fight. If you're saying MMA fight as a whole, I can honestly say with complete confidence I'm better than him everywhere. I mean, he's 24 years old. I've been in this game. I didn't start training until I was about 22, 23, but the skills that I've had over the last 10 years, there's no possible way that he could have caught up with my skills. Like I've been wrestling at the best gym, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. I went to Thailand, Holland, Dutch kickboxing. I've trained all over the world. And then I trained American Top Team, the best gym on the planet, and I've been competing with the best guys in the world every single day, and I know where my skills are at. So I don't know what he has out there in Arkansas, but there's a reason his gym in Arkansas is not the best gym on the planet, and I know he doesn't have the best guys to train with and the best training partners because they're all in my gym. So I think it's gonna be he's gonna find out that there's levels in this game, and that's what he's gonna find out when it comes. And after he loses, I'm sure he'll get back and he'll get better, but it's not going to be his night May 9th.
So then when you think about the fight, how do you envision it going down? How do you see it unfolding?
I envision it a few ways. I envision that he comes in just aggressive, hot, angry, coming in, like just, trying to fight right away. And if he comes in too hot, he's going to get dropped. If he comes in hot, he's going to run right into a right hand. He's going to run into a kick or knee to the head. He's going to eat something hard, and, it's going to drop. And it's kind of going to be on him how tough he is. If the kid's tough enough to eat a couple shots, he can make it an exciting fight. But, if his chin doesn't hold up, then he's going to get knocked out. And then if he's stupid enough to take it to the ground, which I'm sure they will be, if he takes it to the ground, it's going to be a bad night for him. Like I said, I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like something I pride myself a lot on. And, I have the best Jiu-Jitsu in the featherweight division. And if he wants to test it out, then he's going to find out the hard way, just like 9 other guys have found out. I have 9 submission wins as a professional fighter, and probably about 10 more as an amateur. So, that's my world down there too on the ground.
And this is the first event back since all of the cancellations. What does it mean to you to be on the UFC's first event back?
Oh, it means a lot, like, because this thing is affecting everybody in the world. It's not like just affecting people in America or just in England or wherever in the world everybody is. This is something that is affecting everybody all over the world. So I feel like this is going to be the first thing that actually helps, like, get the world back in order. Like, they're going to see, okay, things are starting to get back to normal. There's live sporting events on TV. Things are starting to open back up. Live events, like things like that, and people are going back to work, and there's entertainment live entertainment on TV, and this is I think will be a little bit of confidence for everybody that things are starting to get better, and things are going to continue to get better.
And have you been told about any safety measures? Are you going to be tested previous to the fight? What have you been told?
Yeah, they haven't told us too much yet. Okay. They give us a little bit of information, but like I said in the conference call we did have with Dana White, he assured us that we're all going to be safe. He promised us that we're all going to be in good hands. Every safety precaution measure, didn't exactly say what is going to be taken. So, I'm just going to kind of go with that because, this is my job. This is what I love to do too. So, I've dedicated my entire life to this. So there's always risk. And like when you look at the risk factor, it's like, well, what are we doing? We're going in there, we're fighting, we're cage fighters. We're not the type of guys that usually calculate risks very good. So if we're the ones to test it out for all the other sports, then so be it. But I'm just excited to get back to work.
And have you thought a little bit about how the atmosphere is going to be? Because obviously there's going to be no crowd, no spectators. How are you imagining that to be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. But I fought 20 amateur fights in Florida as an amateur fighter. Some of them, were in high school gymnasiums with 20 people in the crowd. So I don't think it's going to be much, different. And then I fought in parking lots where it's just me and one other guy. And then I fought in Mexico City where there's 30,000 people, cheering against me. And then I fought in Boston where there's 30,000 people cheering for me. So I don't think it makes much of a difference. I've fought in every type of scenario there is to fight in, and this will just be another one. And I think I've probably been in a situation like this before. Like I said, fighting in the my first fight ever, there might have been like 10 people in the crowd, and that's I won that one. So I'm just gonna hopefully it goes the same way.
Okay, so May 9th, how do you see yourself getting your hand raised?
I see a lot of ways. Like I said, I envision all the different ways. Me knocking him out, my knuckles hitting his chin, him going down. But I truly believe that he'll be stupid enough to try to take me down. I'm gonna submit him. So I'm going with the first round submission win, and that's my prediction, and that's what I think would happen if I was to bet on it. That's what I would pick. But we're gonna have to see how the fight plays out, see if he can take the shots, and see how his cardio holds up.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking to me today, and we look forward to seeing your fight May 9th. Thanks.
Thank you so much. It was good to catch back up with
And
you after all the years.